The gaming world can be exciting, confusing, and sometimes extremely disappointing.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
Today, we're going to take a look at some of esports' most soul-crushing moments. But before we do, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Esports might let you down from time to time, but our content never will. All right, let's prepare for the heartache. The Stockholm Major Grand Finals were a big deal. Everyone was waiting to see Simple, the greatest CSGO player of all time, finally win his first major. But in the Grand Finals, Simple's team, Na'Vi, were up against G2, who had their own superstar long overdue for a major trophy, Nico.
We didn't have this for almost 2 years, so just being here is something very special, so I just want to enjoy until the end.
Unfortunately, spoiler alert, G2 did not win, but the truly disappointing moment was how it happened. On the way to his silver medal, Nico graced us with one of the most unfortunate whiffs anyone has ever seen on CSGO's biggest stage.
Times it to perfection, and Simple sitting no! Disaster! An absolute disaster!
That was it!
That was
the game!
It, chat, that was it!
Ultimately, G2's odds were slim, and fans and players all over the world were happy for Simple and his squad. But the missed Deagle shot was absolutely brutal to watch. And I think it's fair to say, no one was more disappointed than Nico himself.
Yeah, Simple have just won the major and I am still on zero. I'm confident that at some point in my career I will be able to lift a major trophy, and congrats to him. He deserved it even more than I did, I think, so, and he played that out of his mind. I'm just focusing on to the next one.
Sentinels were once Valorant's biggest, brightest stars. They were the game's first international champions, and it seemed like their dominance would go unchallenged for a good long while. But as more and more teams began to figure out Valorant, they slowly but surely began to close the gap on Sentinels.
Dapper, it's your time to shine right about now. It's all on you, buddy, surrounded on all fronts. It's over! It's done with! Crew against all of our expectations, against all odds! Send Sentinels home!
As Sentinels lost tournament after tournament, the fans grew increasingly frustrated with their one-time favorites.
I didn't stream for like a week and I got the most shit for streaming that I've ever gotten. That's how I know I can't win. There's no way to describe the amount of shit and hate I'm getting. I'm pretty convinced that no normal player would be able to handle this.
Not even bringing Shroud on board made a difference for Sentinels' results.
So many targets before and Shaz and Dapper to keep it back, and no! They're gonna get the defuse! 100 Thieves live to fight another day!
But their NA/LCQ loss to 100 Thieves was the final straw. The winning core dissipated as contracts expired and new members were brought in to replace them. Well, obviously we don't know how this new lineup will perform, but suffice to say, the fans that were expecting Sentinels to become Valorant's first dynasty were left sorely disappointed. And speaking of dynasties, with 4 majors under their belt, Astralis is the most decorated CSGO team of all time. Device, Dupree, Zipex, Magis, Glaive, and Coach Zonic were once an unstoppable force that steamrolled over any team that dared to challenge them.
And now, for the first time ever at home, Season 8, Astralis are the champions of ESL Pro League, and for the first time in history, the best of all time, Intel Grand Slam, it's Astralis!
When Astralis' results took a dive during the online era of CS, most fans expected that the Danes would just bounce back once LANs returned. But before that could happen, the team's AWPer, Device, left to join Ninjas in Pajamas instead.
Well, obviously, Nikolai, I know that you have made up your decision, and I respect it fully, and I'm gonna start crying now because it's actually quite emotional.
Dupree, Magisk, and Zonic left the team a few months later, ending Astralis as we knew them forever. And sure, Device recently came back, so who knows what will happen in the future. But it's undeniable that not getting to see the OG Astralis roster play together again on LAN is one of the biggest disappointments to come out of CSGO's online era. Normally, a new game from Valve would have everyone foaming at the mouth in excitement.
Valve has a new game coming soon. You're not giving me the appropriate reaction that deserves. Thank you.
But Artifact's announcement at TI7 had tens of thousands of people audibly groaning instead. And that initial reaction kind of set the tone for the rest of the game's highly disappointing lifespan. The player count fell dramatically a few months after release and never really recovered. Not even the promise of a $1 million tournament from Gaben himself could save it. So, what was wrong with Artifact? Well, it was a lot of things. Unlike its biggest competitors, the game wasn't free to play. On top of that, matches were slow, cards could get expensive, and the whole experience was just too complicated for most people. It's no wonder Valve eventually straight up abandoned the whole thing.
It's infuriating to play with as a player because you feel like you're not improving. You feel like maybe your decisions just didn't matter because you don't know whether it helped or hurt you, so maybe it just had no impact.
All in all, Artifact was a letdown for pretty much everyone involved and remains one of the darkest spots in Valve's otherwise stellar history. What is the most surefire way to disappoint an arena full of fans? Beat the team they're rooting for, of course.
Player coming, challenge over top. Formal's gonna be able to help him out. Garmer going for the kill. Formal up to you. 1v1 situation. Assault coming over. And Assault wins the 1v1 of the gaming. We will see you fudging later. C9 able to clutch up in the end. And what a performance that was!
After C9 knocked Optic Gaming out of the running during a best of 5 at the 2016 Call of Duty World League Championship, the crowd was pissed.
Meet the newest and most recent villains of Call of Duty Black Ops 3, led by none other than Aches Cloud9.
Optic are one of the most popular COD teams of all time, and the crowd in LA were furious at C9 for upsetting their heroes. By some accounts, the loss still haunts Greenwall fans' nightmares to this day.
So in full speed, it basically just looks like Ricky outgunned Karma, but when you slow it down, Karma puts a total of 4 bullets into Ricky, and even puts first shot in him as well, but Ricky still manages to get the kill on Karma, and you're just gonna see that there's some bullets that weren't even registering.
Rent-free indeed. Khan is one of the best top laners to ever touch League of Legends.
Here comes Riven! Oh my god, the triple stun! Massive key burst, triple kill, quadra kill! Is this gonna be the penta? He's gonna be delivered at this time! That's gonna be the first Riven in 3 years! Pentakill for Khan!
During his career, he won all but a single LCK split, and has more LCK titles under his belt than any top laner. But the one accolade that always eluded Khan was the game's biggest prize: winning Worlds. And with mandatory conscription nipping at his heels, Worlds 2021 looked like Khan's last chance to complete his legacy. But it just wasn't meant to be.
Someone Kia are limping, and EDG have the man advantage. The Nexus will go down, and against all odds, EDG will be your 2021 World Champions.
They've done it! They've actually done it! The LPL is back on top. Thaddeus combo breaker on Dom1's attempt for the back-to-back titles.
Khan was understandably crushed, but as disappointing as this loss was, he'll still be remembered as one of League's greatest players. Okay, let's try to end this video on a somewhat lighter note. Now, you might have noticed a few bald pros at TI11. As it turns out, Dota 2 players are a pretty superstitious lot. After Team Secret's Yatoro sacrificed his hair to the Dota gods last year, his team actually ended up winning the whole thing.
Can they stop a PSG LGD? I don't think they can. GQ's got it. It's over. GG. It's over. GG. They've got it. They have done it. Team Spirit.
So, naturally, at this year's TI, a new pre-game ritual was born.
GQ and Hector mode.
And in a bid to finally try and win the International, the normally well-coiffed Arteezy also joined the Hairless Club.
Arteezy is squeaky clean bald. Oh, very cool.
He's done it, the madman.
He's trying. I mean, we'll see in about 2 hours, 3 hours if it actually worked or not.
Bold boys for Arteezy! Bold boys for Arteezy! Bold boys for Arteezy! Bold boys for Arteezy!
BG, they'll go for one final attempt at holding back Beast Coast, but they're just focusing the Ancient. EG, there's nothing to be done. GG, it's called. Beast Coast will be moving on. And this is the end of the road for Evil Geniuses this year.
So, the bald buff obviously didn't work for Evil Geniuses. And to make matters even worse, EG totally dropped their roster and left NA after the loss, disappointing their legions of fans even more. But hey, take it from the man himself.
Well, shit happens then.
Shit happens, man. Yeah. Shit happens. You got countered.
Yeah.
And there you have it, some of the most disappointing moments in esports so far. Have you got any moments that disappointed you even more than these? If so, let us know in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. But before that could happen, that was really high. Like before that could happen. But I was like, but before that could happen.